We were leaving as the bomb exploded, but from a different exit. So we were quite lucky, really, on the night. I used to work in the arts. I used to work for a dance company before I had my children. We were given tickets on the day of the performance for free via my husband's company. We live in Lancaster, so we got in the car and drove down, and we actually only just got there in time, really, for Ariana Grande to come on. My son Jake had never been to a concert before, so it was his first ever concert. And I remember watching him and I thought, wow, this is like the best first concert you could come to. You know, the production was amazing. We were leaving as the bomb exploded, but from a different exit. So we were quite lucky, really, on the night. So because we were leaving, then I had to get us, I wanted to quickly get out of the way. Everybody was running and screaming. And because I'd come into the venue via the station, I, unfortunately, thinking, right, what do you do when everything's going wrong? You retrace your steps and then get back to where you know. But unfortunately for me, that was where everybody was coming out, and that's where the explosion had happened. So, yeah, we were just moving back to that area and got caught up in everybody running out and screaming and kind of the chaos that happened after. I almost can't really remember it. I just remember feeling physically sick, shaking. I had to drive us back to Lancaster where we lived, and that was just it was so difficult to drive back with such a young child who was frightened. And everybody was going, all the police and fire engines were going into the city as we were trying to get out, and yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, so I think the first thing for me really is, because I wasn't injured and my son and I weren't in the foyer, I kind of just went home and just kind of got on with it initially. I mean, I didn't sleep for quite a few nights straight after, and just felt really kind of physically and mentally unwell, but also really felt like, well, I'm one of the lucky ones, and, you know, just felt like I needed to carry on, which was okay for a while, or I thought it was all right for a while, but actually I was really, really struggling, just in terms of feeling anxious, waking in the night, having panic attacks and feeling like I couldn't breathe, and just getting on with it, really, not really talking to people about it, just getting up in the night myself and just kind of getting on. And Jake was struggling too, but also we didn't really talk about it with each other. It was really difficult. Once you became a registered victim with the police, or if you had contacted the Peace Foundation in Warrington, they put you onto a social media site that's called Yammer. And that site is set up specifically for people who were victims of the attack. And it's an online space to chat. So they pass on news about the investigation, for example, or any help. People were saying how their kids weren't engaging in kind of performing arts anymore because they were struggling so much after what happened. A few of us was chatting and were saying, wouldn't it be great if we actually put a choir together? Maybe if we sang together, that might help and people might do it. In January, I remember just thinking, well, maybe we'll just try and make it happen. And actually, this is something that I know that I could probably do because I'd had experience working in the arts before. Some other people on the site were saying, oh, well, I can find the space, which was great. And so we just put it out there on Yammer and said, we're going to meet on this Sunday, I think it was, and we met in a church in Salford and just said, come along if you want to. And 18 people came. And yeah, it was fantastic. So we started with 18 people, and then by the anniversary of the attacks, we got up to about 40 people who were coming regularly. And that's when the media sort of heard about us and started to get involved. So once we performed on the anniversary of the attacks, lots of people saw us on television, and lots of people came forward and said, oh, well, I was there, or my daughter was there, and actually they really need some help, or they're really struggling, so they would like to join. It's been really positive and it's lovely. So we've been in contact over the time with lots of different people. Some of the real special moments for us have been that where we've been able to sing for the bereaved families. Fegan, who I think you may have spoken to, she came when we had a bake-off competition, and she came and listened to the choir, and she was our special judge for that. That was lovely. It was great to meet her. We are going to perform at an international congress of victims of terrorism, which happens at different places throughout the world. So I was invited to Bilbao to a meeting that they had where I took talked about the choir and was telling people about what we do and how we used music to help us to recover. And whilst there, I was told about this congress, and the French guy who was organising it said, "Oh, it'd be brilliant if you could come." And if I'm honest, I think he thought I would bring 6 or 7 young people. So I brought it back to the choir, asked people if they wanted to do it. If we get fundraising, let's see if we can do it. And we now have 61 people going. We've fundraised nearly, I'm not even sure now, but basically enough for everybody to go. So we paid for the flights, bar £50 for everybody. And we've paid for everybody's accommodation, and we're all going to go and represent Manchester. People were involved in the attacks. They're a real mixture of people, and so that's what the choir has to represent, really. People from different walks of life, different experiences, and I think that's what's special about it, actually. People have made friends that they perhaps would never have made before, made connections maybe that they wouldn't, and that's been really, really positive. Whoever wants to come, who was part of the, unfortunately was a victim of the attacks, is welcome. We have to consistently fundraise for this to continue, and we chip in and we do fundraising and stuff. So that's a challenge, because I think the choir offers something quite special. I don't want it to go, but it is challenging keeping it going. But it's definitely worth it.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Hart.
Hi, my name's Eric Snowstreet.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm Journey.
I'm James McAvoy.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm Rebel Wilson.
I'm Jeremy Clarkson.
I'm going to be translating some Scottish tweets for It's Gone Viral.
On It's Gone Viral.
Ooh, on It's Gone Viral.